Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Rachel and this is Auxhart Gardening. Today is garden tour week 9, which I cannot even believe that we are 9 weeks in to these garden tours already. Everything has changed so much and I can't wait to show you guys. So let's hop into the garden. Alrighty, we're starting off in the usual spot at the end. This is the carrots and the peas. They are looking really great. The peas have put on a second flush of pods for me, and a lot of them look like they are almost ready to harvest. Yeah, look at these. Those are just about ready. The only problem I've had with these pea plants so far is that I can never seem to harvest enough at one time to really make a meal, even just as one person. Just gotta pick them as they come and then save them up, and like every few days I can get like a serving out of them, but it looks like they're putting on more pods than they ever have before, so I'm hoping that today and tomorrow I can get a full serving off of them. Here's what I got. You know, I could have that with dinner, I guess. Looks like I'll have about that many tomorrow as well, so I might just wait. Alright, so let's move on and look at the tomatoes and peppers slash also still onions. These tomatoes are going a lot slower than I thought. These two flowers here took almost a full week to get to this point where they're trying to fully open. I think I've never actually grown tomatoes that are this big before, and so the smaller ones, like the orange hat with its little flowers, those opened a lot faster. So I was expecting them to open that fast, but now I'm learning large tomatoes take much longer in everything they do, but it looks like we'll have a lot more flowers coming on, so that's exciting though. Can't wait to try these first little fruits coming in. We've got some basil here, another tomato plant looking really nice. This Zulu pepper fluffing out really good. A lot of my peppers are looking really good despite the freeze that came in last week. If y'all saw my garden tour last week, I was really quite worried about that. And so I came out here. I wasn't going to cover things at all because of all of the scaffolding in the way. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Somebody suggested to me after I made that video pillowcases, and I only have a couple of extra pillowcases, but I also had hand towels. And so I just draped each one of the peppers with a little hand towel or pillowcase, depending on what I had. And that seems to have worked really well. I can't find frost damage on any of these. And I think the temperature got all the way down to 40 that night, or 38, something like that. So look, another little flower. Yeah, so peppers look great. They're putting on more flowers, but none of them have opened up yet. You can see in this one, he's just got all these little flowers coming in around the top. Another thing I wanted to mention is, if y'all remember, I was having trouble with my Amish paste tomatoes, looking really curly and not growing. This is one of those. And you can see the leaves that were curled came in really weird and deformed, but they did grow. They did come out, and this guy is putting on flowers, which is great. And the newer leaves look a lot more normal. So I'm thinking this plant will pull through and actually be a normal plant despite its funny looking leaves down here. So that's exciting. I've also got the radishes, which are just exploding here in flowers. I am really hoping that this attracts the pollinators that I need to pollinate my tomatoes and peppers once they start opening up. We've got some really huge pods coming in. I am just amazed at how big these are getting. I tried some the other day and they are definitely spicy. They start out tasting like nothing, and then they hit you with that radish kick of spice. Haven't tried cooking them yet though. I'm waiting until I have like a full branch of them to cut off. Oh, hello. So, next to, in between the radishes, is my single seed challenge tomato. We always got to check on him. He is also putting on flowers, despite looking relatively puny compared to some of the other tomatoes. I guess this variety just has smaller leaves, but you know, the leaves look healthy, and he's growing. So we'll see what kind of fruit we get off of this guy. And still back in the woods, this pepper, even though it's pretty shaded out, he's still growing, not doing so bad. This one, same. This is one of the dew d'Espagnes that is taking its dear sweet time pushing out that side growth. We've still got this row of carrots. I don't mention it much, but this row of carrots is still in between all of this, and it's growing. I've checked down at the bottom of some of them, and there's roots forming, so that's good. I've actually pulled out a lot of the turnips. I guess y'all probably can't tell, but that's a lot less bushy than it was. Harvested about 7 turnips yesterday, and I think 5 earlier in the week. I'm up to something like 20 turnips out of this patch, which is great. And some of them have yet to put on roots. Some of them have small roots, and I'm just waiting. Yeah, you can see down in there. There's one. Yeah, so these are still coming in. May has been unusually chilly for us here, but that seems to have been a good thing for the turnips. I don't think that they would have gone this long without bolting if it hadn't been chilly. And maybe this week is the last week for them, because after freezing temperatures last week, we were looking at one day that's getting close to 90 this week. So yay, South Carolina weather. This is another one of those Amish paste tomatoes. He has not grown the same way the other one has. He doesn't look sick anymore, but he's definitely not taking off the way the other one is, and I'm not sure why, because he's far less shaded than the other one is. He's got his space and everything, so not sure about him, but we'll leave him. We'll see what happens. Kale still growing. Beautiful colored kale. Some days I come out here and this stuff is just like so dark purple, depending on how much sun it's been getting. And this one, dew d'Espagne, he still is not pushing outside growth. I don't know why. Don't know what's wrong with him, but I'm gonna keep him. We'll keep an eye on him. Oh, look, here's another turnip back here. Look at that. It's so weird to me that these ones are so short compared to these ones who got really, really tall, and they're still both putting on roots of about the same size. It's just so interesting. Look at these. Kale's looking good. This one back here is a little shaded out, but I just want little leaves from him anyway, so that doesn't matter. Alright, and this hill up here is still bare. I am still working on methods for amending the soil such that I can plant something in this super, super red clay. Here's the beans, slowly making their way up the trellis. The flowers are starting to really set on some of these, so hopefully I'll figure out which bean is which pretty soon coming up. The texture of the leaves is so different between these, which are like, they feel a little rough, like they're meant to stick to stuff and climb, and then these ones are smooth. Really, they're a little thicker feeling too. So once I start seeing which beans come onto which plants, I'll be able to tell them apart in the future. Some of these leaves are just not looking so great, but that happens. I've been giving them nitrogen fertilizer, so I don't think that it's anything to do with that. But older leaves just tend to turn yellow on beans, and that's okay. Malabar spinach over here, doing well with its extra sunlight. I can't wait to see it start vining up so that I can put it on the trellis. And it's sitting right here next to the garlic bed. A lot of the onions that I had transplanted into this row right here, I've had to pull out because they did the thing where they flop over at the neck, and that supposedly means that they're done, ready to harvest. So I pulled those out. They're teeny, but I'll show you them. I'm practicing curing them on my back deck so that when the big ones actually come, I'll know how long to leave them. Garlic's looking like it's getting there though. Some of these leaves are starting to die back. I'm not sure exactly how long to wait. Just going by what different people on the internet are saying, because I've never done this before. But when I do harvest the garlic, I'll make sure to make a video for you guys all about it. And guess what still hasn't been touched? Broken tree and broken fence. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely. Alrighty, let's move on to the yard. Potatoes are looking very but also surviving. I mean, the leaves over here, this looks like a healthy plant if you just look at it over here, and then you look over here and you're like, oh no. But they're growing potatoes under there, and you know, we'll see. I don't think there's anything else I can do for them at this point, but they're surviving. I am learning my lesson about mounding potatoes. Let's take a look at these sick little tomato plants. When they tell you tomato plants are resilient, they are not joking. I mean, this guy, he's trying to put on flowers, growing full leaves now. Look at that. And he's growing little suckers. I don't need him putting his energy into suckers right now, but yeah, look at that. This other one looks even better. Look at him. He's even got some normal looking leaves. I cannot believe. I'll insert a picture of, oh goodness. I'll insert a picture of what these looked like when I was first thinking about whether or not they would survive. They have definitely come back from basically the dead. So lesson here, don't give up on your tomato plants. They will come back, most likely. Alright, next to those I have a couple of basil plants. They're not doing so great just because they don't really like the cold. This one looks alright, but this one, he's not only not really growing, but he's also getting chewed on. Oh no, that leaf just fell off. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I've sprayed him with neem oil. Hopefully that'll help. I've got my refugee Amish paste tomato here. He is looking really good. Also not growing as fast as some of the other tomatoes, and I'm not sure why, because he's had every advantage in terms of sunlight, fertilizer, all of his own space. He's one of the few tomatoes that's not putting on blossoms yet. Not really sure why, but otherwise he looks great, in good health. I've got my baby stevia over here. Still small, but looking healthy. Next to the tomatillos, which continue to put on flowers, and I have not seen any fruit set, so it might be time to try hand pollinating these guys. If anybody knows any other problems why maybe the fruit isn't setting, let me know, because I have no idea about tomatillos. I know nothing about them. I just got these from the store and let them start growing. So interestingly, the orange hats that I put in containers are actually doing better than the ones that I put out in the bed. This one's putting on a lot of flowers. It put on a lot of new growth after I put it in here. And these were actually transplanted after the ones that were transplanted into the bed, just by a few days. But they really took off, whereas their friends in the bed are just kind of still recovering from the transplant for some reason. Can you all see the garden friend right there? There, against the black background. Little garden spider. Used to be very afraid of spiders, but outside I trust them to stay put and catch bugs like they're supposed to. So they are now garden friends. Alright, so garden friend was hanging off of this basil plant here, which looks fantastic. getting close to being able to harvest a little bit off of that. We've got New Zealand spinach. That's gonna have to get thinned out now that it's really starting to come in. My salad greens are still growing, still getting baby greens from those. This spinach though, this is not a heat-loving spinach. It is flowering already, so I'm gonna have to take these leaves very soon and eat them up. And the cilantro is also going to seed, which I guess I should have known. Cilantro's winter crop here in the South Carolina. But that's okay. We'll get what we can from these 2 pots, and maybe I'll freeze it or something, save it for salsas later. Got my parsley. I think my parsley is getting a little crowded because some of these leaves are turning yellow. When I got this from the store, there was a lot of plants, and I separated them as best I could. But it's probably still feeling very crowded in there. And the clover is taking over my baby strawberry here. Next to baby strawberry, we have the dill. Dill is looking pretty good. I'm not pulling from it as much as I probably should right now for drying. Just because I'm not using dill right now. I mostly have this so I can make pickles later on when my cucumbers come in. The first cilantro that went to seed is still flowering, and that's beautiful. And the oregano and the thyme are just existing back there. And of course we've got to check in on the hot peppers. These guys looking pretty good. The ones that got eaten are still trying to recover, and the ones that didn't get eaten are looking really great. I think this one's probably the biggest one I have. It's got some good branching going on, and at the top it's too small for y'all to see on camera, but it is starting to try and put on flowers, so that's exciting. A lot of these look like that. Bush beans are also looking great. I haven't seen a big difference between these ones over here and the ones I put over here to see how the sunlight would affect them, whether or not they get morning or evening sun. But they're growing. There's a difference in color between the varieties, but I don't think it has anything to do with nitrogen in the soil. The black beans are naturally a little darker in the leaves than the dragon tongue over here. And the squashes are looking good. Nothing new has come up, but everything that's up is continuing to grow. And the pumpkin is starting to put out these little tendrils so it can start vining, so that's exciting. And the random onion I planted in the corner over here from my pantry where it's rotted is looking good. It's not really growing. I think it's probably still getting its roots set in. And last but not least, let's come on up and look at the strawberries. I'm getting some more normal looking strawberries now, which is exciting. Like, look at that. That actually looks like a normal strawberry. It's gonna turn red and maybe actually be delicious. I've been getting mangled tiny things off of this so far. So yeah, maybe I'll get strawberries from this. I almost forgot to show you guys these sprouts. I don't think I got to them last week. This is spaghetti squash, a couple of pumpkins coming up. Those are gonna go in the garlic bed in about a month when I pull that garlic, assuming my estimations on when the garlic are gonna be ready are correct. These are nice healthy seedlings, and the flower from my dad is still coming back. Really excited to see that flower again. Here's those onions I was telling y'all about that I had to pull out of the other garden because they flopped. They look good, they're just small. This is the biggest one I got, and it's dried out nicely like a regular onion would, I think. So that's encouraging. Theoretically, I can now store these. I think they're dry enough, but it feels a little bit like a moot point to store them, so I'll probably use them up as soon as I can since they're so tiny. But yeah, this is my first onion crop. Alrighty guys, well that is the update from me today. I was thinking back and I realized that I didn't make any other videos for you guys this whole week. Not that I'm not working on videos, it's just that I'm actually working on a lot of videos for you guys that are taking place over time. And so it feels like I'm doing a lot, but y'all aren't seeing a lot. So I promise when those are ready, those will all come out, and hopefully they'll be really helpful for you guys because I'm learning a lot of new techniques. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you guys for being here. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It does make a difference in how many people YouTube is showing me to, and I want to reach as many people as possible. If I'm helping you, please subscribe so that other people can be helped as well. And another reminder, I do now have an official Auxhart Gardening Instagram account. You can check that out at Auxhart Gardening, AUXHART Gardening on Instagram. On Instagram I'm sharing things like when I harvested the turnips the other day. I had a couple of carrots come up that I actually overwintered, and I was not expecting them to survive the freezing temperatures after January. And I pulled up maybe some of the biggest carrots I've ever grown. Not that they're like huge or anything, I only grown carrots once or twice, but yeah, it's an interesting experiment, and I share stuff like that on my Instagram. So if you're interested, that's a good place to keep up with some of the more daily stuff that's going on, even though I'm not putting out full videos every other day right now. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I will see you very soon, and until then, happy gardening!